4, 3, 2, 1.
You know, we're all bonded together by our love of pop culture and all those things, but meeting one another, we're all, I mean, you and I are in the same city, but people all over the world. And it's been great. I mean, I would be on streams with like talking about action figures with Justin, who's in Australia, and Az, who's in Yorkshire in the UK. And I'm here in California, and I mean, literally the entire globe. And on the other, it's just nuts.
I mean,
it's been great.
I love Hot Toys. What's a Fully Articulate, or what's the name of your show with him?
So yeah, it's he does Hot Toys, and then I do Fully Articulated. It was so funny because we did a series of episodes reviewing the TV series The Prisoner. We both love The Prisoner. I'd met and there's 17 episodes, and we did an introductory episode. So we did 18 reviews over the course of like 18 weeks. And at the end, Az suggested, he said, you know, he collects toys, and he goes, we should just do one show about action figures. I'm like, that'd be cool. Well, so we've done 46 toy episodes.
I love those streams.
I mean,
you know, I like Az, I you know, in that element.
Yeah.
I don't know the man personally. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, you know, I just love it when you guys talk about toys.
Well, it's, you know, it's funny because it's inherently positive. You know, and I think what's really interesting is I've collected action figures literally my whole life. And when I was younger, I played with action figures like all of us did, but like I would make up day-long stories. Like it would take me all day to play out the story that was in my mind. You know, and whatever it was, I would have to go through my whole house and set up all that. Like if it was a Star Wars story, I would have like the Death Star playset for the Star Wars figures on the other side of the house. And that's where I was trying to get to. But then I'd have all these different planets that I had to land on first. Like I guess like a video game, but it was a story. So I'd leave figures. I'm gonna like meet these characters here, and I would make up what they were. So by the time I got there, I knew who these people were going to be and what the battle was going to be. And, you know, so I always collected action figures because they were, to me, they just represented stories. They were characters other people had created that I could then carry on my own stories with. So I think that's why I was always attracted to action figures. And now, of course, we have the best action figures that have ever been made. So what's not to love? It's such a weird thing.
I'm so envious. I love that stream. And I did watch a little bit today. But I do want to say that, you know, when I was playing, because I was an only child,
right?
So I mean, I would make productions.
Yeah,
I would perform for my mom, right? I would impersonate the Beatles, Elvis. I would do all that stuff. But then with my figures, you know, other planets were the different big the couch. I would take the couch apart.
Oh yeah, dude. The couch was always an endless. You could turn it into a fort. Like it could be a place a ship could fly into and land, because you could take the cushions up and maybe suspend them like this, or you know, do something.
You put a chair next to it and you put on top. I mean, there's just, you know, or like, you know, if it was a different color, then it was always like another, like you said, another part of the house.
Yeah, and if you took a couch and then you had a chair and you flipped it up and you put the chair upside down, you had so that it'd be like a landing platform.
Cool. Yeah, the bottom of the chair.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be like and it would like the sticking up parts. There'd be a door. There'd be and the thing would come, you know, down and land.
Well, and I would mix my toys. Right, it was never just Star Wars. It was the Shogun Warriors that I had, and the GI Joes. I just would tear them up. I would.
Yeah, see, I was really about condition, keeping the toys in good shape, but I like to me 12-inch. You know, I had to keep the scale correct, but it was like my sister had Barbies, and like when they made GI Joes, when I was a little kid in the 70s, they had 12-inch GI Joe figures with real cloth clothes, and they were awesome. But the thing about GI Joe figures is they never made anything like for civilian time. you know, it was like the adventure team. You'd have helicopters and the mobile support vehicle. But
Yeah.
sometimes I would commandeer, like my sister had this Barbie dream house. It was this 4-story.
Yep, sure.
Like vacuum thing. It had an elevator, and she had a pink.
I remember the elevator was a big deal.
Yeah, and she had
the elevator was a big deal.
It was a big deal, but I could like have, so like G.I. Joe went home to like chill out in his pad, and then villains could storm the building. Die Hard hadn't come out so I didn't know, like, it's gonna be like Die Hard. And then my sister had like the pink Barbie Corvette, and so, you know, you'd have some car chase and G.I. Joes in the Corvette. Just like, and it was you know, it was great. And I think the same. I mean, now the action figures they're so sophisticated. I mean, we just put them up and pose them, but to me, they still represent. They're still like movie figures, like Hot Toys figures represent not just the movie itself, but the actors, the costume designers, the director, the cinematographer. So a great action figure to me symbolizes what I love, which is movie making. So that's why I see them as something that is inspirational. By the way, I love that band you were playing before you started this.
Oh, they're here in LA, brother.
They're great.
One of our fallen heroes, but forever in our hearts. It's Picard. This is from First Contact.
That season is first. That's that's a Playmates figure. I like that whole Playmates line. That was a great line of figures.
And it's all cloth.
Yeah. Those are the 9-inch figures. Those are great.
Yep.
I still have a lot of those. Those are really, really. Playmates did a really good job, you know, with that line. They did a lot of classic figures. They did great stuff. They did the Mirror Universe figures from the original series.
Well, I like what you said too, because it was, you know, that's Patrick Stewart,
right?
It's Halle Gerlich.
Yeah.
It's Picard. It's Professor X.
But I mean, like nowadays, like you could see, like I have Shuri from Wakanda, you know, right here. I mean, the throne of so here's the throne of Wakanda. Here's Shuri, cool. And so like Hot Toys just made that throne. Like I love action figure chairs, but like they just made that throne, so that's all they put out. Something, and they got you to pay $100 for a plastic throne that probably costs $10 and $5 to make, but it doesn't matter. And you know, I got the 7 Samurai over here, and you know, Jimbo, and you know, it's and then it's I don't know, you know, the figures are. It's great, but I can't believe that people have tuned in 46 times to watch Az and I talk about toys.
I tuned in, and I heard you had like some credit. You're like, oh, I got some money here.
Well, it's funny. I looked at. I forget, because when you buy things from like Sideshow or Toys Wonderland, they give you credit. Like every time you buy something, you get. And I realized, like with and like if you get shipped a figure, it takes like 2 or 3 weeks, and then the credit that you kicks in. So. It's always great when you have enough credit to buy a new figure.
It's like, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version. All right, Paulie, let's go.